Hey guys, the home service pro here.
As you can tell from our breath, it's that time of year again. Time to winterize campers. So in today's episode, we're going to show you how to winterize a camper.
Let's get started.
Okay, so the first thing you guys need to do when you're winterizing a camper is you want to make sure that, number one, the sewer tank is empty. So you have to make sure the camper is completely drained of all the wastewater that was stuck in it. Number two thing you want to do is make sure that your fresh water tank on your camper, in this particular model, we fill it from here. You want to make sure that there's a drain underneath. And if you read here on the side of the camper, most of them will say fresh water drain. If you go down underneath here, you can see this right here is the freshwater drain. I already have drained the fresh water out of the camper. All you do is just open this valve, it drains. I emptied the sewer, so we're ready to move on to the actual winterizing of the camper. But those are the two most important parts before you start winterizing that needs to be done. So number three, we're going to go ahead and open up the water heater. Most water heaters are on the outside like this. Some have on-demands, but this particular model, we have a tanked water heater. So I'm going to show you how to drain this. It's kind of messy. There's no good way of doing it, but we're going to go ahead and do it. So I'll be right back with you. Okay, so what I did is I went ahead and I loosened up the drain port on the water heater just a little bit, just to save some time, because this shield kind of makes it hard sometimes to get a wrench in here to loosen that up. So you go ahead and get that loose. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to open this relief valve just a little bit just to take the pressure off the system. It should stop draining fairly quick, or at least take the pressure off. That's all we care about, so we're not getting sprayed at when we open that. So I'm going to go ahead and close that. I've got this tote here because I'm inside my barn. I'm going to try and catch some of this water that's going to come out of the water heater. Next, I'm going to go ahead and get this drain plug, and I'm just going to start backing it out. And once that drain plug pops out of here, we're going to get all the water. Now, it's just going to chug like that. What I do is I open up this relief valve, and then that water will drain much faster. There's only about 6 gallons of water in these water heaters, so it'll only take just a few minutes here, and we'll be all drained out. Once that's drained out, we'll move on to the next step. And just remember, all that electronics and stuff that's in there, that's all waterproof. So if a little bit of that gets wet, it's not going to hurt a thing. Okay, so I have the drain plug that I've removed from the water heater. We're done draining now. And just the biggest thing is to remember that all of these electronics in here, I know I said this once, but it does not hurt it to get wet. I know a lot of people are worried about getting the electronics wet. This thing is designed to go down the road, and we get all that rainwater and stuff that moves in here. This thing is designed to get wet. It's totally okay. So what I do with this plug every winter is I take this plug and I just set it just inside the water heater area, and then I go ahead and close this up because we are completed with winterizing the water heater. That is all there is to do there. Now we just got to bypass the water heater because we don't want to dump a bunch of antifreeze into the water heater. So there's some bypass valves back inside of a cabinet back in here behind the water heater that I've got to turn on. It's going to be a little bit tight back in there. There's a lot of plumbing in there. I'll do the best I can to show you what I'm doing. But the first thing you got to do is on this particular model, this panel right here, I've already pulled 2 screws on it just to loosen it up and get it ready to be popped open. We just open this panel up here. Once that panel's out of the way, then we'll get up in there and we got to shift a couple of valves in there. And I got my daughter up inside there. I moved another panel just so we can get a little bit better view of the back of the water heater when I'm doing the valves. So 1 second and we'll get right back with you. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to bypass the water heater. So we have up here, it's hard to see up in here, but I have a hot water line that comes out of the tank. We want to close that. Right now it's open. Down low, we have the cold water inlet pipe with a valve on it. That's right down in there. We got to also close this one. In between this one and the hot, you'll follow this line up. In between the two, there's one more valve, and that's the bypass valve. We want to open that one. So what we did is we made it to where no water will go in the water heater and no water can come out of the water heater. We're going right around it so we can winterize both the hot and cold water lines. We're going to go ahead and step out of the camper, and I will show you the next step. Okay guys, on the panel that I opened up to get in there, there's actually a drawing of the back of the water heater. I'm going to try and make this a little clearer for you because I know it's a little hard to see back there. So this was the cold water line inlet. We went ahead and closed that valve because in normal operation it's open. The upper valve is our hot water going out. We also close that one. So now no water can go in, no water can go out. Now we need to still have water going through the hot water lines. So that valve there, that's the bypass valve. We go ahead and open that valve. Now the water can come here, hit the T, go up through and right back out to the camper without going through the water heater. So that's what we did back there. So our next step in winterizing the camper is there's this line here that is hooked up directly to my pump. And when we turn the water pump on, this will suck our antifreeze up and push it into the water system. There's another valve back in here that we got to turn in order to use this. I'll see if I can get back in there and show you that one as well. So the line I was just showing you out there is this line here. I'm going to try and follow it back in. I know that this is kind of weird because I'm upside down and things like that in here. So this valve right here is the valve that I need to close. This is my line going down into my water tank that it sucks the water up through with the water pump. There's another valve right back here that I need to get to turn on, to turn this line on right here. And I turn that one on, and now my pump will suck the water, or I should say, in this case, the antifreeze, up through this tube and into the camper. All right, so this is the RV antifreeze that I use. I like the -50 stuff myself. There makes some other stuff out there that's a little weaker, but I like going with a little bit stronger stuff. So what we're going to do at this point is we're going to take this jug and we're going to go ahead and open it up. And you're going to just set the jug just inside here, this hose here. We're going to go ahead and set that inside there. This is the line that will suck the antifreeze out of this jug and into the water system. And so then we'll go inside, we'll turn the water pump on, and we'll show you how to take care of it from there. All right, so then we come up inside the camper. This is my control center here. Go ahead and open this up. And we have the water heater switch for the electric, water heater switch if we're using LP, and the one that we care about right now is the water pump. We're gonna go ahead and flip that on. You can kind of hear the water pump pressuring up. Now that we have the water pump pressured up, we're gonna go ahead and go over here into the kitchen. And I'm gonna stand over on this side just for convenience. We're gonna run the cold water until we have pink come out. Right there, we got pink. Now, the cold water line coming up to the sink has now been completely filled full of antifreeze, so that can't freeze. Now we're gonna do the hot. It's gonna be pink for a second, turn back clear, and boom, now we have pink water again. That means that we have antifreeze in both hot and cold. So this faucet is completely winterized at this point. It cannot freeze because we have all the water out and straight antifreeze coming out. We'll go on up here into the bathroom. And we're going to repeat the same thing on the bathroom sink. Let me turn some lights on. We got the bathroom sink. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to run this until we get pink coming out. There's pink on the cold side. There's pink on the hot side. We're going to turn around and go over here to the tub. We'll do the same thing on the tub. There's pink on that one. And we already have pink on that one. One thing I do though is I come up, I grab the shower head. I'm going to go ahead and bring that down into the tub. I'm going to turn the faucet on, pull that up until I get pink coming out of my shower head. There we go. Now I know the line for my shower head is completely winterized as well. That's going to drip for a little bit, but it will stop. We're going to turn around, come over here to the toilet. On the toilet, you're literally just flushing the toilet again until we see the pink water coming out, and there that is. And so now we have the tub, the sink, and the toilet is all been winterized at this point. Now there's one more thing in this particular model that we've got to do. It's up in the front in the closet because this has a washer and dryer hookup. I don't have a washer and dryer installed in it, but the hookup is still there, which means I have water lines going up there. We got to protect them water lines in the drain. So give me 1 minute and we'll be right back. Up in the front of the camper, I have the closet in the master bedroom. Inside the closet, it has a washer and dryer hookup. You can't forget about these. Make sure that your camper doesn't have these, or if they do, you must winterize them. So I've got the drain top here. I'm just going to unthread this, get that out of the way, and then I'm going to go ahead and thread a hose right onto the hot side. Once I get that tightened on here, then I take the other end of the hose and I'm just going to go ahead and turn this on until I get pink coming out and down in the drain there. And I'm going to let it run for just a little extra. There we go. So that's the hot side. I'm going to disconnect it from the hot side, put it over on the cold side. Okay, do the same thing on the cold side. We're going to let that run for just a second just to make sure that we got the cold completely pushed of water to where we only have antifreeze. And there we go. That's all winterized.
So your last step to winterizing your camper is to winterize your outdoor shower. So we're just going to pull that cover down, grab your shower head, bring it down, and you're going to want to turn on your cold water side until you see pink. And that's pink, so we're going to turn our cold water off and switch over to our hot water side until it turns fully pink. And that's pink. So we'll turn it off, get our shower head back in there, and close the lid. And you're good to go. All right, guys, so we have successfully winterized our camper for the season. We just got our covers back on and we're good to go. So if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe because it does help our channel grow. And if you have any questions or would like to see anything in particular, please comment them down below and we will try to help as much as we can. So make today a great day, and remember,
you got this.
Thanks, guys.
And we'll see you in the next one.